Hello friends. Now I explain the concepts relating to second program CFT 1B. This program is function oriented program. Function oriented program means we dissect the main task into subtasks and each subtask is handled by a function. That you have to understand. This is very core. Actually C language itself a function oriented programming language. Whatever you have written in the name of first program, it is not the real C program. Understand? You use the C code. If you have to write a C program, it should be function-oriented program. That's why this is the real C program. Now, you have to thoroughly learn functions. Actually, once you learn and master functions, this knowledge and skills are useful in other languages also. Same way, Java, those are called methods. That is the difference. But the only thing is, the basic mechanism is same. That's why I thoroughly understand. First, I start with the function definition. What is a function? A function is a named block of statements which may take arguments or may not take arguments and which may return a value or may not return a value. This is the definition. By this definition, you may not grasp it properly. Now, with an example, all the points I explained. Now, I take up a simple task, calculate sum. Calculate sum of two variables, calculate sum. Here, naming conventions you should follow. Already for variables, we are writing a camel case. Here, whenever you are writing a name of the function, it should be linked with underscore. Multiple words are there. You have to link up with the underscore symbol. You should not use camel case according to the conventions of a C language. Okay. If we have to calculate sum, what is required? How many? Minimum 2 arguments are required. Now I am providing it here. Int A, int B. These are called parameters. Parameters are formal arguments. So here the restriction is every parameter should be individually declared. Simply you cannot make int AB, int A, int B. Okay, even 10 parameters are there. All 10 parameters you have to declare individually. That point, these are called parameters or formal arguments. Okay, and thereafter, once sum is calculated, what is its type? Its type is obviously int versus int. So, which type of value it returns? Obviously it returns int type of value. So, here return type. That means function, which type of value function returns, that you have to write. Int. Here in this case int. Then here block starts. This is the block. Now thereafter, inside the body we have to calculate sum. Sum means we have to, once the sum is calculated, it should be stored. For that purpose, we have to define a variable sum. Actually, what is its type? Obviously, int versus int sum. This is called local variable. Local variable. Because why it is called local variable? It belongs to the body of the function. That's why it is called local variable. Next, how sum is calculated? You know that. Processing statement you have to write. Here A and B are provided. A and B are input values for this function. Now sum is calculated. Now sum should be returned. Return sum. Now we see whatever definition I explained, every point, a function is the named block of statements. Here one statement is there also, you have to create a bug. It is not optional, it is mandatory. Function may take arguments or may not take arguments. In this case, it is taking arguments, 2 arguments, or it may take 10 arguments. It may not take arguments. Okay. In this case, it is taking arguments, and it may return a value or may not return a value. In this case, it is returning a value, and its type is called a return type. That you have to mention here. So then it is calculated. This is called a return statement. Here one point you have to understand. Function may take 0 or more arguments. That means no argument may be there. It may take 10 arguments, any number of arguments, 1 argument, 2 arguments, or 10 arguments. It may take any number of arguments, and those are called parameters or formal arguments. Thereafter, as far as return is concerned, this is a return statement. Function may return either 0 value or 1 value, maximum 1 value, or otherwise it may not return a value. Then you get it out. If it does not return a value, later I show you what is it. Then what is the type of that? Then it should be void. Void means function does not return any value. That's the indication. Okay, this is the function definition. So if you see in a different way, this is a small program. This is a small, tiny program. It takes inputs, it processes, it returns output. This point you have to understand.